We are the hub for news, results, and CEO interviews focusing the junior commodities sector. We provide market analysis and perspective that will help position you for solid returns.
Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to Stock Talk. Real pleasure to catch up with QU Media. We've got Curt Marvis here. What an incredible year. Granted, a very challenging stock market year. But listen, when we're looking at companies, this has been a record-breaking revenue year for you guys. So I think if we could do kind of like a look back of what's happened in 2022 and then looking forward with this momentum, I think that would be a great overall theme for today.
Sure. Yeah, look, the 2022 has not been a fun year from the stock price perspective for QU Media and a lot of other companies.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe we're seeing a little blip of life coming back. Hard to say. I think we've seen it a couple of times this year, so we're all probably a little bit suspect and nervous about that. But I was talking to somebody yesterday about the fact that there's a point at which in operating any business, public or private, well, public, I should say, you've almost got to decouple your thinking from just specifically the stock price. And you've got to say, look, we're going to build a business here. We're going to build something that's sustainable. We're going to ultimately build profits. We're going to build something that has growth as part of the ongoing part of the business. And if you do all of that, then ultimately the markets will catch up to it. And, look, sometimes the markets overshoot things on the positive side where it's fluffier than probably it deserves to be. And obviously there are other sides of it where it goes the opposite direction. So I think our point of view is in looking at 2022 and where we're at with 2023 with QU Media is we had a phenomenal year in 2022 as a business. I mean, the last 2 quarters we've reported record-breaking revenue for the business. We'll have another one in the quarter that we're currently in. We're going to have over 100% revenue growth from last year to this year, 13.5 million in 2021, which was a great number for us. That was up from 2.6 million the year before. So that was a massive trajectory. This year will be over 28 million. So we're looking at, going over 100% this year. And beyond all of that, we've added so many new products and things to our business. I mean, we were kind of a one-trick pony to some degree with the Hindi language channel in India and the influencer marketing business here in the US that were kind of driving a lot of that revenue growth last year and this year. We've launched 4 new channels in 2022. We've added new products like Q Data, like Q Studios, like Q Play, a direct-to-consumer app. None of that stuff is reflected in our current financial performance. None of it. And so what's exciting going into 2023, is that these products haven't even begun to really deliver. And that's what we're really looking for as we go ahead.
and you've got like 125 million users right now as well.
Yeah,
That's
sorry.
huge. Yeah, that's no problem.
We reach collectively through all of our television channels, our connected TV channels, our smart TV channels, our app-based content channels that are under the Q brand, OTT platforms, et cetera. We're seen by at least 125 million people every week in India. Okay.
Yeah.
So the whole concept of that is what I always talk about a lot is what we call our loudspeaker. And, one of the hardest things to do as a company is, especially in the digital era, is to get people to come in the front door. I mean, that's why companies that have a lot of traffic, whether it's Amazon or whoever it might be, that have a lot of people that effectively walk into your storefront, provides huge opportunities to upsell and monetize in other ways. So when you look at a company like Amazon, it's a great example, actually, and I'm not pretending that we're, aspiring towards having the valuation of Amazon. They started as a book selling website, okay? Yeah. And once they got enough traffic coming in for their books, they said, oh, you know what? We've got a lot of people coming in to purchase things. Maybe we should sell something beyond just books. And they started to expand that. Then they looked at saying, wait a minute, Amazon Prime, a huge part of what they were selling was DVDs and VHS tapes. Maybe we should actually start a service, Amazon Prime, that actually has that has those people come in, that then becomes a transactional thing, that gives loyalty to the Amazon brand. These are classic business case studies of something that they grew from. Our model is no different. We had a Hindi language channel that got to the point where it still is delivering 100 million viewers every week. How can we extend that further? Well, we extended that further into 25 million additional viewers in other categories and other products. And our goal is to get that up to 200 million. Okay. We want to get 200 million people in 2023 that every week walk into a place where there's a Q brand. It doesn't matter whether it's at the, to use the Amazon analogy, whether it's at the checkout stand at the grocery store where you're buying an Amazon discount coupon, gift card for somebody. That's your touch point with the brand, or whether it's in something else. Every one of those things becomes monetizing opportunities. And that's why Amazon, people don't realize this. I don't know if it's in Canada or not. It's in the US. There's a big grocery store chain called Whole Foods. Well, now they own Whole Foods. Well, why does Amazon own Whole Foods? Well, it's because they've got Amazon delivery. And so now they've got a grocery store outlet that they go to that allows them to offer food to people that they have their own store. Again, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to compare us to Amazon at the level of whatever they are, a $1.5 trillion market cap. I mean, that's a big aspiring point to go. But the truth is, the fundamental basic model of creating people coming in to buy books and then extending that out through all sorts of different products and services, frankly, at the end of the day, is exactly what we're attempting to do in India.
And you talk about, like the opportunity to build out the business like that. And obviously, I think it's safe to assume, based on this conversation, you guys aren't looking at buying any grocery stores in the near time. But maybe if you can give us a little bit of a teaser of the blueprint for 2023, what other expansions can people kind of look forward to seeing with you guys?
Yeah, I think, you guys, probably have seen in some of my presentations, I show a map that Walt Disney drew in 1956 of the Disneyland roadmap. And it's got, in the middle of it is Disney Studios and the creative stuff that they're making. And then there's all this other stuff that goes to TV and educational films and theme parks and all the other stuff. It's pretty amazing drawing. I've always been inspired by that. I always thought it was a cool thing. And we've got a similar thing that we're doing in terms of our business. The center of our universe are the so-called digital content creators and social media creators that exist in India and then here with our US business, primarily in the United States. The core of everything we do is based on the digital content creators. All this stuff behind me that comes from my days with MTV. The core of MTV were the music artists. I mean, MTV didn't exist without the musical artists. And ironically, what MTV really was at its core was it was a platform for musicians to get people to buy their records and buy tickets to their concerts. And then when they went to their concerts, to buy T-shirts and hats that said Bon Jovi on it.
Yeah.
Okay? So it was MTV was a platform to promote things through the music artists. It was actually MTV, when it used to run videos all day long, it was a 24-hour sales commercial. A music video was just a commercial, 4-minute commercial for you to go buy the record and or go buy concert tickets and any other stuff that came out of that. Well, the digital world is becoming a lot of the same thing. These digital content creators are spokespeople that are actually promoting other people's products and services in addition to their own to be able to get you to do other things. Well, if you're a digital content creator, you want as much audience, you want to get as much promotion, you want to get as much audience, you want to get all of that because that's how you monetize. That's why Mr. Beast is making, is $1 billion business now.
Yeah.
And so our thing is, okay, you're a digital content creator. We're going to create a platform that you can monetize, make more money, gain more audience, have more touch points with your consumers. Well, the first way is just to show your content, to show your music video, to show your content out to a new audience and make money out of that. We pay them. so they make more money. Next thing is to create alliances with brands, to get more brands who want to be behind you, want to promote against your content. And let's create special content around that so the brands are paying you more money. Next thing is to get more products and services that you can offer directly to your audience. So if you're a gamer and you want to sell, gaming peripherals to your followers, well, what better way to do it than on the Hindi channel on your little game show, and on Q GameX, our connected TV channel, where you can do that directly, and ultimately on Q Play, where you can start to create your own shows where you're directly doing a little show that's promoting the peripheral that you're making money off of. So it all becomes transactional at the end of the day. And so what we're doing is through Q Play, which is our direct-to-consumer app. The reason we've just acquired Maxim Tech Digital Ventures, which is a casual gaming company, because we believe in interactivity, two-way communication, ultimately a transactional relationship. The reason that we're developing more channels across different verticals, so there's a comedy channel, there's an animation channel, there's a gaming channel, there'll be more that will follow verticals, is all based on taking these digital content creators, our rock stars of the old MTV days, and putting them in front of communities in ways that they can monetize it and drive more revenue. That's what our whole business is based upon. And that's why we think there's nothing but growth ahead of us, because India, with the largest population of people 35 years of age or younger on the planet Earth, 850 million of them, is a hotbed of what's happening in the world of social video and social media consumption. That's why we think we're in the right place at the right time. And that's why we think we're so drastically undervalued now as a company in terms of the foundational tools that we've built and products that we've built to be able to achieve that.
No, I think so. You've laid out obviously what's a great plan and a great kind of attack strategy that you guys have. But you mentioned that the stock price isn't where you want it to be. What are, and I mean, I know you knew this was coming, but what are kind of the plans moving forward to combat that? Do you guys have anything that you're looking at or thinking of to kind of, hey, how are we going to be able to boost this? Are we going to look at a different, avenue? What's kind of the game plan going forward as far as continuing to build that shareholder value?
Yeah, some people, who followed us that might be listening to this know that we were planning on doing a NASDAQ uplist in 2022. We're delaying that for the time being because we just we studied the market, frankly, and it was just, there were no indications that was going to be successful for shareholders. I think the bottom line is that we've also talked about consolidations. And frankly, most companies that have done consolidations haven't been successful with those either. So we've kind of said, look, we're going to ride through things. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get the company to cash flow positive position across the board where we don't have to raise capital anymore. Yeah. Now, there's a number, we're always looking at opportunities. So there's a number of things that we're looking at right now that can be, transformative in many ways to the business going forward. We'll always do that. But the number one thing is that the market, let's just assume that 2023 is as bad, or who the hell knows, maybe it'll be even worse than this year has been. God forbid that does happen, but who knows? But the bottom line is that we're just going to keep grinding towards becoming a cash flow positive business, not relying on more capital raises, building the revenue profile of the business and the tools that we've got along the way, and kind of see what happens with the markets. In addition to that, we'll keep doing stuff like this. We'll keep doing IR. We're gonna get more aggressive in IR. I'm actually doing it as we speak in the U.S. We still don't think that the U.S. has been tapped in terms of that. And as opposed to doing the uplist and kind of then following it with IR, I'm going to do a lot of the U.S. IR now, sort of on it's not specifically this, but more of like a pre-deal roadshow type mentality. Yeah. Like, let's introduce ourselves to the U.S. audience. Let's get the U.S. buyers excited about what we're doing. See if we can get some organic uplift in our U.S. following as a result. And then if the market does return to a healthier position in mid 2023 or Q2 or who knows when, then we'll be well positioned to be able to ride that and move accordingly. So, it's kind of a one brick at a time philosophy right now. I mean, believe me, it's depressing to look at what our share price is right now. It's like, it doesn't even make sense, but it is what it is. And so we'll just keep fighting, along the way.
It's very sobering to have the share price and the current economic financial environment. But like you said, when you've got revenues growing, not only on the percent basis, but on the dollar value, I mean, that is strongly encouraging because there's so many companies out there that don't have they don't have revenue, or the revenue isn't growing. They're not really doing a lot of sales. So there's a lot of upside in this ugliness out there for sure.
Yeah, I think, look, everybody talks about if we hit have we hit bottom yet? I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
But it certainly feels like we're getting into a point where there's a lot of undervalued assets that are out there right now. Look, we all know historically, this would be the first time ever in the history of the financial markets that it didn't return, into a more positive market position going forward. The thing none of us know is, does that happen next month, next quarter, 2 quarters from now? None of us can really predict that. We can obviously project and think about that. Our bottom line at QU Media is keep building the business, be fiscally responsible, get to cash flow break even, drive the things that we're driving right now forward. And when the market returns, we'll be rewarded, and our shareholders will be rewarded accordingly. That basically is our game plan.
I think that's perfect too, because you're not, scrambling too much in one direction. You're saying, no, look, we've got a good plan. We're going to stay the course. We're going to keep doing what we know we can do. And eventually things are going to fall into place the way that they need to. And that's, I think, the kind of, from my perspective, I think that's the best way you can kind of move forward with it.
Yeah. I mean, look, you could make the argument that if we were sitting on $50 million of cash and other things, we might be making some investments that weren't as smart as they should be, because we'd be feeling the pressure to deploy that, a lot of that. Well, instead, we're kind of doing the opposite. We're saying, look, we've got 5 channels now in India. We've got direct-to-consumer products that we've launched. We just acquired Maxim Tech, and we have a lot of plans around the gaming area that we're going to do. We've got really great growth in our US influencer marketing business and in our Chatterbox business. Okay, great. Let's focus on all that stuff for right now. We've already got it. Let's deploy that and let's monetize it the best way we possibly can. And as things open up further, then we'll go further. And that is what we're doing.
And you'd said some of these new ventures, they're not reflected in this last quarter.
Q3 almost zero. Yeah, very, very.
Yeah. So we have, and we don't know what those are going to be. But I can go by some anecdotal evidence of, I've had friends that have returned from India, and they're like, oh, India, India's bustling. It's not the same like Vancouver, where everyone feels like it's the end of the world. They're like, no, things are moving there. Oh
no, that's the other thing is, I think because of all the problems in China, and there's been a lot more press. I've just noticed this actually in the last month. There's been a lot more press about South Asia in general, India specifically, receiving a lot more capital infusion because people are scared to death of China right now because of all the political and other problems there. And obviously Russia and the Ukraine are out of the picture for the moment. South America is always kind of its own, gamble in terms of the government stuff going on there. And so we are big believers that India is going to become a place, look, it's got a rule of law, business is done in English. The government there is very supportive of it becoming a first world economy in every way. And they see a real shot for that country right now to become, over the next 10 or 20 years, what we saw happen in China over the last 10 or 20 years. So yeah, we think from that vantage point, we think we're really well positioned as well.
Certainly from my perspective, I look at India as being such a huge opportunity. I really do. I would love to see a lot more, not only Canada, but US courting them more aggressively, bringing them on side and working on all sorts of different initiatives. But like I said, they've got an education system. They've got opportunity, a massive middle class. All that sort of stuff. And we've gone through
huge technology development. People with more disposable income. So, India's only going one direction. And believe me, that's part of the plan as well, because you got to, to ride the wave, you got to be on it. So we think we're on the wave that's happening around India for sure.
No, look, it's great, Curt. Look, we appreciate you coming on and giving us kind of the rundown, the year recap, and the blueprint moving forward. Any kind of final thoughts you want to leave the audience with just before we head into a new year?
No, I just think it's easy for me to say, of course, but I think we're a great, buying opportunity right now, given the kind of prices that we're trading at. We're confident that we're going to see the stock move somewhere between significantly to dramatically over the course of the next 12 months. We still have a few things up our sleeves that we're working on. So we're aggressive guys in that regard that could help be transformative. So we'll see what happens, but we think 2023 is going to be a great year for the business and for the stock.
Perfect.
Fantastic.
Well, thanks so much, Curt. We really enjoy having you on. It's always great. And I mean, we're never shy about talking about the opportunity with QU. We think it's amazing. Regardless of how ugly the market is, everyone who follows us knows that we don't trade. Like we get into a company, we like it. And if it takes 6 months longer, it takes a year longer. Okay. That's no problem. Is management doing?
We're just more fun than mining and lithium.
Oh my goodness, that certainly is a lot more fun than.
Look behind me. Look behind me.
I know. And that's the thing. It's the management team that they know what they're doing. They know how to build brands and talk about bringing that experience into a market of that size. It's going to translate, and it is already, but it's going to translate into I think into big numbers. Whether that's a year, 6 months, 2 years, whatever it is, it's coming. And if you're not on that wave, you're not catching that, it'll crush you. Or you can ride it all the way.
Yeah, as always, appreciate you guys having me on, and totally appreciate your support, and have a wonderful holiday season and onward from here.
Beautiful.
Absolutely. Thanks, Curt.
Okay, thanks, guys. See you.
Cheers.